Now, full disclosure, I've been shooting Mathews bows exclusively since 1992. So I love my Mathews. And as many of you know, I only use equipment that I believe is the best or the highest quality. So all my partners, it's that same way. That's why I have the same partners for many, many years and don't change often. I've changed trail cam company and clothing since I started this a decade ago. And the bow company, I'm not changing. And I enjoy shooting my Mathews. And so for me to say this is my favorite Mathews ever is saying something. And I know I don't say that with every model that comes out. The new Lift is an incredible bow. And you know, one thing I'll talk about the changes right away, it's a ½ pound lighter and 5 feet a second faster on average. That's saying something. Imagine if your bow company changed 5 feet per second every year, we'd all be shooting 500 foot per second bows. That's not the case. It's very small incremental changes. So to jump this much is very drastic, but they did it without sacrificing the bow being extremely quiet and extremely forgiving. A couple of things they did, you know, setting up this bow was easy. And I'll show you one of the things I really like is this is more of a deflexed riser, meaning the riser sticks out a little bit more. Now back in the day, target archery bows came like this. They were very deflexed instead of reflexed. When it's reflexed, it's in. That gives you a shorter brace height and a much faster bow that was more critical, not as accurate. What they did is these are the Mathews shortest limbs ever. They shortened the limbs, I would say, I'm just guessing, about an inch. And they pushed out the riser about an inch, so your brace height is exactly the same. This new cam right here gave it and made it a much faster bow. Gives you more stored energy, but then they harness that energy efficiently, so it's not making more noise, it's making less. It's a quieter bow than last year's model, the Phase 4, and then faster model, more deflex riser. And I chose to go with the 33. I chose the 33 because I love shooting out the yard out here. We can shoot 110 yards, 125 yards over the road over there, 40 yards right here at the corner of the pole building, 30 yards right here, and then we can shoot 60 from right there, 70 right here. We have another target over there, one behind the house, and of course indoors too. We like shooting indoors, so we can shoot a lot, and for that get to play around with the bows a lot. And so those are some major structural changes. The cam, shorter limbs, more deflex riser, and then the riser was of course cut out differently so that they could make this riser much lighter, the bow overall about a ½ pound lighter. And what I started doing this year is I used the Mathews integrated sight, and of course it's the bridge lock, so it goes right into the riser. But this is a very lightweight sight, which is what I like. I don't like this bow to be top heavy because I have this giant sight dragging around the bow. I use a Spot Hog in the past. It's a really well-built sight, but I felt like I could drive a nail with it. And this one is very light, compact. I like my pins, as many of you have seen, at 20, 30, 40. I'm a whitetail hunter. I do like a movable pin sometimes, and sometimes if I do, I'll set my 30 yard as my movable. And they do have a movable sight bracket I can put on this. Of course, integrated bridge lock stabilizer right here. I like 2-piece quivers because I never take them off. You can actually see the bloody arrow right here. This is a hunting review. One of the things with all of this and all these design changes include a new string. And so the strings are made lighter, stronger. And what we noticed is they say in the past it would take 50, 100 shots to break in the string and then it would stop rotating. This one they say 5 shots. And I could say that's true. You can say this peep sight is sticking straight back, not rotating, and it's been that way since the beginning. You could probably start it right here, and then it rotates straight, and then you're good. It doesn't change at all. So very, very easy to set up and tune. What I love about this bow is you can see, I like when I'm whitetail hunting, I don't like practicing like this and shooting like this all the time with that sky draw. Because if you do that all the time, I'm talking pure hunting, when you go in the woods, you might do that. And when you do this, you're gonna spook a certain percentage of deer. Maybe it's only 5% or 10% more, but depending on your tree stand type, how much you move, if you stand up, sit down, those are all percentages that take away from you shooting a deer. Again, hunting review of this bow. I like sitting down to shoot, and with this right here, pulling straight back is very easy to do. And that's what I want to do. I want to be facing the deer and I want to pull straight back with very little bit of movement. I don't want to go like this. Again, that's going to spook deer. A lot of us use brighter fletching too. What does this look like? Going up and down. Looks like a flag waving of a running deer, spook deer. Very easy to set up. I probably set this up in 20 shots. My 20-yard pin, you can actually approximate the 30 if you've been doing this a long time, 40. Go out and hit the range a few times. And the beautiful thing about this, bullet hole tears, and then I use the Muzzy Trocar HB. It's that nice blend between wide cutting mechanical blades and then the shorter fixed blade design, all rolled into one package that shoots incredibly accurate. And I found no difference in the point of impact between my broadheads and where this hits on paper. So I've been very, very happy with that. And if I do find it different sometimes, even with any of the bows, it's usually an inch at 30 yards, and then that carries forward. Once you adjust that, you're done. So you're really not off that far. Very easy to set up, but most importantly, I got this bow. I don't remember if it was a morning, really midday, and I had it out in the field that afternoon. It took 20 minutes to sight it in and then go out in the field. And that's what I do with all my new bows when I get them. It doesn't take long to sight them in. And they've made the grip style has changed. People complain about the grip. I like a narrow grip because when you're gripping the bow, look what happens if your index finger gets involved in all and a little bit of a squeeze. So those big old wide grips that were fancy wood, you move just a little bit, it twists the whole bow. These are nice, slim grips that just rest in your hand. You have a relaxed grip when you shoot. And again, very easy to set up and shoot. But most importantly, in the woods. What I found is I took this to the woods right away, got the bow early October, sometime around there, end of September, and I was very pleased going out in the woods, and it gave me a quick confidence because I could pull back. The cam gives you that nice hard wall. It's a really good, nice soft draw curve that just stops. So you don't have this bang and all of a sudden it drops in. Really nice soft draw curve that's fairly even. And then it stops, gives you that solid wall that you're pulling against. That solid wall gives you good accuracy. Back in the day when I started shooting the original one cam, I was shooting indoor spots a lot. My spot count went from 52 average spots, and I always shot 300 games, and that moved me up to 57, 58 right away. It was within a couple months, I was averaging 59 to 60 on those indoor spots. So very, very consistent. It's because of that solid wall. Used to be back, we used these round rounds, they called them back in the day for target archery. If you shot at the front of the wall, you'd hit inch high at 20 yards. If you shot at the back, you might hit inch low or vice versa. The bottom line is that's why people use clickers. They'd have a clicker right here. When your arrow went past that point, you shot real quick. Caused target panic a lot. You can imagine that panic feeling, you gotta shoot. So all that said, easy to pull back, great wall, really accurate right off the bat shooting and taking out the woods, and I felt confident. And it made me want to shoot more and more. And I enjoy shooting this bow. And I enjoy shooting all the bows, but with all the target setups we have and being able to shoot indoors now through inclement weather, after dark, rainy, it's been a really joy. So all that being said, it was time to head to the woods. And I hunted throughout first part of October. I passed some nice 4-year-olds. Shorty was one of them. And I had some really nice bucks under me, but I was holding out in Minnesota here for a 6-year-old we call Bo. We had a 5-year-old named Isaac. And then Barry, we hope he returns. He always returns in December. He's a nice 6-year-old too. The bottom line is I wanted to fill my bow tag on Bo. He was my specific animal that I actually passed Shorty up 3 times this year. And the third time I passed him up that night, he walked right by. He looked pretty darn good, but then Bo came. Bo came in making a scrape. And when I pulled back with the lift and really centered on him, I felt extremely confident. The bow was not moving around. I felt like I could aim. I stopped him, put it right where I wanted to hit. He ended up going about 150 yards, piling up. Arrow went all the way through, hit the opposite side shoulder, came out quickly. I thought, did I bounce that off the shoulder? The arrow was laying there. I was actually scared to go up there. When I went up there, I found that half the arrow was broken off and that half had blood covering it. So I felt really good. We gave him about 2 hours, and Hunter Root, actually, photographer, videographer in the area and friend, he came over to help us and retrieve and get some nice shots with it. But man, so excited when I walked up to Bo. And really, with getting the bow just 3 weeks, 4 weeks earlier, and doing all the shooting I did with it, it just all came together. It felt good, but I wasn't finished yet. I still have a tag over in Wisconsin. There's a big deer over there we call the Big 8. He's still alive as of last night. So we're shooting this on November 15th. But the Big 9 was also a target buck. and another buck we call a lowrider. They were 2 4-year-olds I passed up last year as 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds. And this year, the 8-point didn't come in front of me. But when the 9-point came in, I just felt so confident. He came in, gave me a shot at 15 yards, and again, shot him, heard him crash about 100 yards away, heard a second crash, so I knew he was down then, got out of the stand right away, followed him. He'd run through a pile of logs, and then went down about 30 yards below that. And again, just extremely confident going into the woods with this bow. A new bow, really, you know, a month that I'd had, shot it a few hundred times, peep never moved, felt good sighting it in. It's faster, which helps. I have little stubby arms. I'm only shooting 27-inch draw. I'm shooting about 62 to 63 pounds. That arrow's flying close to 280 feet a second. I'm using about a 430 grain arrow. It's a more moderate weight arrow. I like that. That fits for my draw length and for my poundage. Gives me the trajectory I need. You can see my pin gap. That sight is, you know, not tucked up against the riser, but it's not a really great pin gap, meaning it's not wide out. It's a pretty flat shooting bow. And most of all, I feel very confident with it. And so for hunting review, for hunting, which is what I love doing, I love target shooting. I might actually get, this bow has made me literally want to get back into target shooting because I feel so good about shooting it. Part of it's, that's why I got the 33-inch. I know the 29, I think it's 29 and a half. That's a beautiful bow, great for hunting, but I really wanted to have a little bit longer length just to get better accuracy out here on the long distance range. And for whatever it's worth, I've taken those short bows and shot 60 spots indoors with them. I know I could do the same with the Lift, the shorter one, but this longer one was a perfect fit for right now. And I've been truly honored to not only get it early, I'll be able to set it up immediately, get it out in the woods the same day I received it, and then shoot a couple nice bucks with it already this year. Who knows, I might take it out. Wisconsin's gun season is just this Saturday coming up, and I'll either be sitting with this or my muzzle loader, depending on the stand I'm sitting in. I would hesitate not to use this bow in the Wisconsin gun stand. And I've done that before. I've shot bucks on opening day. I've shot bucks the last day of season. Shot my buck last year during bow season during Minnesota. So done that Wisconsin and Minnesota. Minnesota on my bow tag, and then Wisconsin on my gun tags or bow tag during the gun season. I really couldn't be happier. And the cool thing is, you might see some of the B-roll shots we have. My buddy Aaron, he winds this little thing that we can put through the Silent Connect system, and I could wear the bow on my back going in. We have a lot of 40-minute walk-ups in Wisconsin, so I really enjoy that. And Silent Connect system is incredible. Now, one thing I figured out too, I didn't realize, they make this cable guard right in the middle of the axle to axle, and that's what keeps your cams on time, all the precise and precision machining. Back in the day, that cable guard was a lot of times down here off your slide, and that's why things would come out of timing. You can imagine the way these were rotated and positioned on the top and bottom. They were off. It doesn't happen anymore. That's something they've migrated throughout the years. Cool thing is, there's been incremental changes every single year in every model they have. And sometimes it's been very slight, but this is a drastic difference all around. I urge you to go to your bow shop, and if you can get it in your hands and still have some time to hunt, even better. Like I said, I feel honored to do so this year. And it's hard to say what they'll do next year to top this, but this has been an incredible change. One of the biggest changes I've seen in Mathews bows in the 31, 32 years that I've been shooting their bows. And really happy with this. Go to your archery store, your local pro shop, and I urge you to try it out. I appreciate you guys watching the YouTube channel, but I don't know if everyone knows everything that we have to offer, whether it's on whitetailhabitatsolutions.com, our website, or WHS Wildlife Blends, our seed company. Also Instagram you can check out. I'm very active on Instagram, putting strategies on there, photos of what we do every day. Much more active there than Facebook. But our seed, web classes, books, clients, articles. I have over 600 articles on whitetailhabitatsolutions.com, everything whitetail strategy. Of course, we have hats on there, and then make sure to check us out on Instagram again. But lots of stuff to offer. We're always coming out with new things, and this isn't the end of it. We have more things coming soon. Make sure to check us out.